Frozen opened in theaters back in November 2013. Today, we'll skate through the franchise's debut, the controversial shorts, and take a whack at decoding the buzz around Frozen 2. Brace yourself, winter is coming. Wait, shoot, wrong series. I'm Arielle with Channel Frederator, and this is the timeline of Frozen. 1818. Once upon a time. No, really, once upon a completely unspecified time. We don't have a specific year when the story starts because it's set in Arendelle, a fantasy world based on Scandinavian and Sami folklore. But we can follow the paper trail and get close. One of the shorts, Frozen Fever, shows a map of Arendelle, which suggests it takes place in 1840, on Anna's 19th birthday. That means Anna is born sometime in 1821. She's 3 years younger than Elsa, pushing the start of the timeline back to 1818. So, let's begin with 1818, when Elsa is born with the magical ability to create and control snow and ice. She and her little sister Anna are born into the royal family of Arendelle and have a happy childhood despite living in, the coldest place on the planet. 1825. Anna and Elsa sneak out of bed to play in the palace, and Elsa loses control of her powers, wounding Anna. Their parents, Agnar and Iduna, are horrified. The whole family rushes to the Valley of the Living Rock to seek the help of the trolls. Enticed by the ice trail Elsa leaves, a young boy named Kristoff and his pet reindeer Sven follow her. The rock trolls eventually take in Kristoff and Sven and raise them. The royal family is greeted by these trolls, and their leader, Pabi, devises a solution. All of Anna's memories of Elsa's powers are removed, and Elsa must learn to control her magic. When the family returns to the palace, they lock the gates to protect their subjects and maintain their secret. The sisters are separated, and Elsa is given a pair of gloves to help rein in her gift. Anna is understandably confused by the isolation and spends the next decade or so trying to figure out what's going on. 1836. Lucky for us, this flies by in about a 3.5-minute song that's catchy as heck.
Do you wanna build a snowman?
We watch Anna and Elsa grow up and grow apart, from kids to tweens to teens. When Elsa is around 18, 3 years before the main events of Frozen begin, their parents set off on a boat. Their boat capsizes in a terrible storm, and our beloved though somewhat estranged sisters are left orphaned and in charge of Arendelle. July, 1839. Elsa turns 21 in 1839 and comes of age to inherit the throne. On Coronation Day, the palace is opening its gates for the first time in, forever. Anna is thrilled, Elsa is repressing her feelings like a champ, and we're all wishing we had Idina Menzel's vocal chops. The kingdom is popping for the coronation. Even Rapunzel and Eugene visit from their kingdom of Corona. And before you say anything, yes, that is actually what Disney decided to name their fake Germany. Among the non-Easter eggy guests are Kristoff and Sven, who are all grown up. We'll soon find out that Kristoff had just as lovely of a childhood as Anna, as if him talking to his reindeer in a funny made-up voice didn't give that away. We also meet Prince Hans of the Southern Isles. Anna is bowled over by how gorgeous he is, literally. In a classic Disney meet-cute. God, those sideburns and that nose, am I right? But don't get ahead of yourself, girl. This one, he's a doozy. Elsa nearly derails the coronation ceremony with nothing but her bare hands, but narrowly avoids disaster. Now let's ramp up Elsa's anxiety even more at the coronation after-party. After a few awkward words with Elsa, Anna spends the whole night with Hans, commiserating about their youngest sibling syndrome in another undeniably singable song. Who knew two people could both like sandwiches? At the end of it, Hans proposes to Anna, and the two run back to Elsa to get her approval to plan a quick wedding. Elsa refuses to give Anna her blessing. After that shock, Elsa tries to end the party early and close the gates. This causes an argument between Anna and Elsa. Elsa loses her temper and unleashes her powers. The crowd in the palace reacts poorly to this display, and Elsa flees, fearing the judgment of her subjects. She loses control again in the streets of Arendelle. Now the whole town knows about her powers, so she makes a break for the woods. Elsa's meltdown unleashes a magical winter on Arendelle, taking the country from a balmy July sun to a frigid Svalbard ice faster than you can twist a kringla. Anna goes after her, leaving Prince Hans in charge of the town. Meanwhile, Elsa is hiking through the snow, closing in on the power ballad of the century. She's cold, overdressed, and staring into the middle distance on top of a mountain, the perfect time to realize that she doesn't give a damn about what other people think. She conjures an ice castle from the ground up as Let It Go pops off. Hell yeah! Hope she added a karaoke cathedral in there, because we're going to be singing this for the next 100 winters. Or at least until Frozen 2 comes out. Now that she's unlocked her top vocal register, Elsa is having a great time in her winter wonderland. But Anna isn't doing so hot. She slogs through the snow in search of Elsa and stumbles into the Wandering Oaken's trading post and sauna. Just as she's stocking up on a new Halloween winter outfit, Kristoff the ice salesman stomps in and is quickly thrown out. Anna sees an opportunity and hires him to bring her up to the North Mountain in hopes of finding Elsa. Almost immediately, the pair is accosted by wolves. They hit a major roadblock when Kristoff's sled explodes in a crash, as sleds do. They decide to go hoof it. Along the way, they meet a small, summer-loving snowman named Olaf, who looks just like the sisters' childhood playmate. Turns out he's one of Elsa's creations. He promises to lead Anna and Kristoff to her, and the band of heroes grows by one short snowman. Back in the city, Hans is holding down the fort with hot soup and warm cloaks. But despite his do-good attitude, he is chastised by the Duke of Weselton, a dignitary from a neighboring kingdom with a suspicious interest in Arendelle's trade potential. It's clear that the empty seat of power is drawing political vultures. They're quickly interrupted when Anna's horse returns without her. A concerned Hans takes volunteers up the mountain to look for them. Back in the woods, Anna and company find Elsa's ice palace. They break in, or, well, the doors open on their own. It's a whole magic thing. And the sisters reunite. Still, Elsa refuses to come home, traumatized by memories of hurting Anna. She's even less jazzed to hear that she put the whole country in danger with the whole eternal winter thing. Elsa goes through an emotional tailspin and her powers misfire again, this time striking Anna in the chest. But Anna persists, still refusing to leave her sister behind. So Elsa conjures up a giant snow beast named Marshmallow to chase her out. Anna and Kristoff flee down the mountain and off a cliff, along with Olaf and Sven. Soon after, Kristoff notices Anna's hair turning white as a result of Elsa's sucker punch. They set off again with a new destination in mind, off to Kristoff's friends, the love experts, who he claims have fixed a problem like this in the past. Little do they know, Elsa is still in her ice palace engaging in some seriously negative self-talk, pacing around saying stuff like conceal and don't feel, and making the ice all red and spiky. Kristoff takes Anna and Olaf to his stomping grounds back in the Valley of the Living Rock to introduce her to his adopted family. All 433 of the cousins make the standard family assumptions about their status as a couple. But they have a point. A spark has been growing between the princess and the Iceman, despite the frigid weather. For some, this news would come as a surprise and Anna collapses, but not from the shock. Poppy rolls up to reveal Elsa's blast froze Anna's heart, and the only way to reverse the damage is with an act of true love. Kristoff gets the gang back on the road to Arendelle to push Anna and Hans back together, hopeful that their love-at-first-sight relationship will save Anna's life. Okay. It's a shame, though, because Hans isn't in Arendelle. While everyone's been off on adventures, he and some civilians have been schlepping up to the Ice Palace in search of Anna. When they arrive at the entrance, he warns goons sent by the Duke of Weselton to not harm the Queen. But those thugs seem to have their own agenda. Regardless, everyone's plans go out the window when Marshmallow attacks. Weselton's thugs use this opportunity to storm the palace. They find themselves on the receiving end of Elsa's ice magic, and this time Homegirl is on the offensive. Hans evades Marshmallow and tries to take Elsa down, but as he distracts her, the Duke's men make one final assassination attempt. Hans quickly redirects the shot, causing it to ricochet off a chandelier, cutting it loose, making it fall, and knocking Elsa out. After Elsa wakes up, chained and imprisoned, Hans pleads with her to bring back Summer and promises to advocate for her release. He best make amends with the big sis soon because Kristoff and Anna are galloping into town on Sven's back. Kristoff drops her off at the palace but isn't allowed in, leaving Anna to reunite with Hans inside. Ouch. She explains that she needs an act of true love, a la True Love's kiss, to reverse the spell, and Hans goes in for the smooch, only to hit us with the plot twist that rocked the nation. Oh, Anna. If only there was someone out there who loved you. Hot take, I think he should have kissed her. I think it would have hit us a little harder. He kisses her, nothing happens, and she's kind of like glancing around like, what happened? I'm still frozen. And he's like, oh, Anna, if only somebody loved you. But he took the kiss anyway, because he's an ass. Think about it. Would have been good. With these words, Hans reveals his plot to seduce Anna, kill Elsa, and take the throne of Arendelle. He traps Anna in the parlor, leaving her to freeze to death, and returns to the Duke of Weselton, claiming Anna has died by Elsa's hand, and he was able to marry Anna in her final moments. He's ready to take his place on the throne, and his first act as ruler is to charge Elsa with treason and sentence her to death. Down in the freezing dungeon, Elsa stages a jailbreak by literally breaking the jail and flees into the snowstorm. Meanwhile, Sven tries to get Kristoff to go back to Arendelle and confess to Anna. But Sven doesn't have to work hard because Elsa's kicking up a huge snowstorm that draws everyone's attention. Our little homie Olaf finds Anna still locked in the parlor, near death, but definitely not dead, no thanks to Prince Hans. Olaf breaks the news that Kristoff is definitely in love with her, just in time to spot the lovebird himself sprinting back to the palace. The pair set off to meet him, but Elsa's ice magic unwittingly thwarts Anna and Olaf's escape, forcing them to head out into the raging blizzard. Out in the cold, Elsa's spell starts turning Anna completely into ice. Hans tracks down Elsa in the snow, and I gotta respect a guy willing to brave the elements just to ruin someone else's day. He lies to Elsa about Anna's death, and Elsa's shock stops the storm in its tracks. Your sister is dead. Because of you. At this point, Anna's more popsicle than person. But when she sees Hans prepare a killing blow to seal Elsa's fate, she's gotta make a decision. Will she reach for Kristoff's true love to save her own life, or make a move to save her sister? Dramatic pause. Anna dashes between Hans and Elsa just as she turns into an ice sculpture, shattering Hans's blade. Elsa is heartbroken, wrapping her arms around Anna's frozen form in grief. But the true love between the sisters thaws Anna's heart, and the ice around Anna melts, returning her to her body, good as new. Elsa realizes that love is the secret to melting the eternal winter, and within moments, Arendelle is returned to its sweltering Nordic summer. From there, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to happily ever after. Anna punches Hans into the fjord and ships him back to his country in a cell, and the Duke of Weaselton is booted back to Weselton, with no chance at a trade relationship in the future. Anna buys Kristoff a brand new sled to replace the one that exploded, and the two finally act on the feelings they've had the whole time. Elsa puts her ice powers to good use, building a skating rink for Arendelle. She's now beloved by her people, and the sisters skate off into a metaphorical sunset. But don't fade to black just yet. We've still got the Frozen shorts to watch. The first one to release was Frozen Fever in 2015, alongside the live-action Cinderella. 1840, spring-ish. Frozen Fever starts about 1 year later at Anna's 19th birthday. Kristoff, Olaf, Sven, and Elsa are setting up for her big party. Elsa and Kristoff are learning how to get along, while Olaf is learning how to live in the summer. But Anna still hasn't learned how to wake up on time. Elsa, ever the perfectionist, has a huge day of presents, bike rides, and sunflower cakes planned. Months in the making. But a series of sneezes threatens to derail the celebration, and not even a DIY Vicks Vapor Rub from Oaken can beat back Elsa's cold. Everyone wishes for warm weather until the air becomes 50% pollen and 50% humidity, huh? Elsa's fever isn't the only thing going wrong. As Elsa leads Anna around town to distract her while her party is set up, Kristoff struggles to keep control over all of Elsa's tiny snow babies. Snow geese. They are called snow geese. They're kind of like hoagies, so they're like, I think hoagie and I think like a snot, bleh, you know? That's probably why I don't like the word hoagie. Anyway, they're called snow geese. There's about 100 tiny snow people running around, and every time Elsa sneezes, more pop up. But never fear, Anna, now older and wiser, has enough grace to recognize when to take a rain check. As soon as they return to the castle and blow out the candles, Anna gets Elsa to bed, though not before blowing the birthday bugle horn, which launches a giant snowball all the way to the Southern Isles to land on Hans, who's shoveling horse poop and regretting his choices. Serves him right. 1840, December-ish. Oh no! I hated this one! Olaf's Frozen adventure picks up that same year just as the holidays hit. Arendelle is absolutely hyped for their first Christmas in forever, and no one is more hyped than Olaf. The palace has planned a huge surprise party for the town, to start once the Yule bell is rung, an Arendelle tradition. But the second bell tolls, and all of the people turn their backs and head home to take part in their own traditions rather than go to the party. So our heroes try to come up with a plan B. Kristoff suggests picking up some of the many troll traditions, but the girls decide to veto licking rocks and shoving grass up their noses. Elsa reverts back to her emo phase, blaming herself for taking away their chance to create a family tradition for the holidays. Olaf watches as it all goes down and decides to stick his carrot nose into the situation and collect some family traditions for the sisters to try. He and Sven head into town to go door to door and take a survey. After he hits up everyone in town, he visits Oaken, who gives him a sauna to take for the road. This is very important for the timeline. A lit sauna in a high-velocity sleigh isn't a great combo, and we have a reprisal of Kristoff's sled crashing and exploding into a ball of flames. Sven and Olaf are separated, and Sven rushes back to try to get help. Back in the palace, after Anna and Elsa dig around the attic looking for traditions, they check in on Kristoff, who's dealing with some pretty inventive charades on Sven's part. Of course, for Kristoff's struggles, they immediately guess that Olaf's lost in the forest and being menaced by wolves. Olaf isn't having a great holiday so far, and takes a page out of Emo Elsa's book, singing a pitiful song and really getting down on himself. But the rest of the town has rallied behind Anna and Elsa to go out looking for Olaf. When they find him, the sisters show him a mysterious box that they found in the attic. It's full of drawings of Olaf they gave to each other on Christmas. Olaf realizes that he is their family holiday tradition. Olaf's faith in Christmas is restored, and they realize that if they're all out and about, they may as well party. Grabbing some supplies, they whip together a soiree for the townspeople out in the woods, and kick off a new annual festival, complete with a dash of Elsa's classic stomp on the ice to make a big magic ice show move. Frozen 2, 1842. How will Frozen 2 fit into this timeline? And will it answer some of our lingering questions from the first movie? According to Collider, the sequel will have events from before and after Frozen, but the bulk of the film will take place 3 years later, in the fall of 1842. Elsa hears a voice calling from an enchanted forest that her father used to tell her stories about. According to his story, it was the site of a great battle waged between the people of Arendelle and the spirits of the forest. Elsa and Anna have been warned that this forest might one day awaken and release spirits modeled after the 4 elements. So the heroes set off on another journey, this time to get to the bottom of this mystery and figure out what Elsa's connection is to this magic. In the trailer, we get a glimpse of the trials they'll face: stormy seas, giant rock monsters, raging pink forest fires, and menacing water horses called the Nyuk. Oh, and a new character will be making his debut. Bruni. I don't know. Bruni, a lovable little salamander whose sole purpose is to be as adorable and as cute as possible. Like any great Disney movie, ultimately the sisters' greatest challenge won't be the magic or the danger, but their own emotions. Now that Anna has Elsa back in her life, the trailer has made it clear that she'll have to go to extraordinary lengths to make sure that she doesn't walk right back out. Elsa will have to deal with the demons in her past, be it the specter of her parents or the threat of her own magic. We'll be on the edge of our seat either way. I'm Arielle with Channel Frederator, and this has been the complete Frozen timeline so far. Make sure to subscribe down below, and remember, Frederator loves you.